This time on Captain Castle's Laboratory, we're going to be working on the Department 56 original Snow Village, the Carnival Carousel. And it's here. It doesn't work. It doesn't work right. Let's rephrase that. Here's the paperwork from it. Apparently, in its package, one of the window frames popped off. So we'll take care of that. And I do have the, if you have this piece, the little thing with all the lights that go around, it's right here. So, anyhow. So, and this is interesting. This one just lifts right off. The problem is this is supposed to turn. See how it tries? So, it's possibly a bad belt or a bad, and then that's the frame that's missing. A bad belt or a bad gear. Let's see what it takes to open it. And here's the inside of this. I guess we should do it so you can read it right side up. How about that? There you go. 1998. And this is ceramic. So be wary with it. Probably shouldn't hold it like I'm holding it because this is just glued on. And if this pops off, imagine if that falls off. So. But in the picture in the instructions, it tells you to grab that to lift it out of the house. I would recommend testing it for glue strength before you do it. So on the side here, if you don't have this piece or have never seen it, we have your volume. See, now it's going to work. Oh, I heard a clunk, so it's probably got a bad gear. Year round, and then we have Christmas songs. And then your song selector. Ooh, that's hot. It's an incandescent bulb, so it gets nice and toasty. We've got some shadowing going on over on this side. There we go. Equal it out a little. Yeah. So this cam locks on. You can see a little notch fits in these grooves. Looks like at one point it was attempted to be glued on, even though the instructions show just cam locking, and that's all. So on the bottom, let's take the bulb out so we don't break it. This bulb is, is this an automotive bulb? It's literally, this is a 12 volt unit. And this is a 12 volt, 5 watt. This is like an 1157 tail light bulb from a car. Just get the 5 watt one, which is dimmer. If you have this piece. If you don't, and you get it, there you go. Basically 1157. But I would convert it to an LED. Just for power consumption. Like I always recommend. It's funny that it uses a light bulb from a car. So on the bottom we got 4 screws. We have 3 in the feet area and then 1 oddball right there. I'm going to start with the feet. Holy smokes, those are tight. No, I thought maybe changing the torque setting, but that just made it worse. Oh my gosh. Always one. There's always one screw that just wants to... Holy smokes. I wonder if this was glued in. Wow. All right. Yeah, there's some stuff on the thread. So let's see if we just, by removing the 3, nope, have to remove all 4. Okay. And same thing. I don't think I've ever had to press this hard on a screw before. It's crazy. And it's just screwed into plastic. But there's some stuff on the thread, so I wonder if they're literally glued in, so you never can take it apart. I was thinking about using a drill for a second, but I realized I don't have a smaller bit in here for my drill. So, I don't know if this is factory or if somebody's taken this apart and then added Loctite or glue to the threads, but there is something on the threads. Let's take off the collar and see what we got inside. So we just have a motor and a belt. That is the entire thing. There's your circuit board. Capacitors look good. Blob chip has a hole in it in the coating right there. That's never a good sign. 8 ohm 5 watt speaker, just larger than standard for most, but this is an older piece. On the older days they used bigger speakers. So this isn't turning, but this is still turning. So there's another layer to this. It looks like the problem may not be inside here. The problem's going to lie inside here. So we got multi-layers. Let me get that back on so we don't lose alignment. There's a little set screw on the side right here. Let's see if this thing's glued in there as well. Yeah, it is. Not a high torque screwdriver. Figured this would have slid out the bottom, but it can't. So, how much slack do we have on the wires? The wires are twisted, so to give me some slack, I am untwisting the wires by rotating the top, because you cannot remove that silver light or socket, light holder, from. So by untwisting it, it gives me a little room, and that's really similar to a cassette player. Very interesting. This rubber wheel. This is very interestingly put together. It uses a spring as suspension. Very interesting. So it keeps tension with the spring, and that's your drive wheel. Something's slipping inside, because if I stop the drive wheel, everything's still going. So I'm going to try and take this off without losing the spring or screwing it all up. And need a different. What it is with these screws. That is absolutely insane. This works on friction only. So, this spring here puts tension on this, which if you've ever taken apart a cassette player or even a VHS tape player, they have these wheels right here. It's a rubber wheel that presses down on the tape. Of course, on the VHS player, they're much larger. 8 tracks have them too. So, how this works is this pulley right here, which is driven off the motor, goes up, drives this shaft. This wheel is riding on this shaft right here. Move that out of the way. And this spring keeps tension on it, so when that shaft, it spins the wheel, which in turn rubs up against this and causes that to rotate. Very, very, very interesting, because the only thing that can fail is the belt. I mean, you could strip the shaft out, but that's pretty rare. I could see it not happening anytime soon. That's very unique. This is a very unique build. There's really no repair since the belt's good. It's probably just spring tensioning, or we got just a really slick shaft. Oops, touching that. Oh, lost the belt. Yeah. I might replace the belt since this is probably the original belt. Unless somebody opened it up to replace the belt and then they decided to glue the screws in, which is crazy. This belt's actually really elasticy. Here we go. That is so strange. It's... Let's turn the music down. It is literally the exact same setup as a freaking cassette player. That is crazy. So this motor here is commonly used as a 6 volt, but this is, in this case, it's probably running at the full 12. It's a 12 volt motor, and the reason it's spinning slow is the ratio of the two pulleys there is dramatic. So, but it's a standard motor still available. You can get it from Mr. Christmas as an example, Sunco. Not Mr. Christmas, the company, but not Sunco. Suntronics. Oh my gosh. Suntronics has them. It's a standard motor that was used on the older pieces of both Mr. Christmas and the Parma 56. And the only way I can see this not to slip is to increase the stickiness coefficient on the wheel and its slickness coefficient on the spinning parts. Because when I stop the wheel, the belt spins. It spins this metal shaft that it rubs on that runs this. So to make the wheel sticky, it needs to be cleaned. And then to increase the slickness coefficient, we need to lubricate this center shaft that this rotates on. It does have grease on it, but not a lot, and it's really sticky, so the grease is worn down. So we don't need any parts, we just need cleaners. So when I clean stuff, I use 99% isopropyl alcohol. I'll link below this if you want to get this big old gallon jug. Works great for lots of things besides this, but anytime you're cleaning electronics, especially if you have like battery corrosion, you can use isopropyl alcohol or white vinegar. I use the alcohol first. If the corrosion doesn't completely come off, I'll use white vinegar. But this is good for cleaning out different things. So how this works is this disc slides on this shaft here, and then this is screwed on, so this disc spins underneath this, so there's no rotation of the wires where they get twisted up. So this is acting like a rotor. have found with rubbing alcohol is it does, when it cleans rubber, it does make it stickier. Especially if there's any dirt on it. Yeah, it's turning this black. The black is turning this brown because of the oxidization on the rubber we're removing. This is a very unique setup. I'm surprised I don't still do stuff like this. I mean, it makes sense. It's virtually never going to fail. You're going to lose a belt, you're going to lose a motor, but you're not going to lose your main drive. And if you have pieces laying around of different things, if you broke this wheel, take it out of a cassette player. I don't know how many of these things I've thrown away after taking apart a cassette player. I'm figuring nothing uses this rubber wheel assembly. Just to find out that's Department 56 using for a while. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right. So it's not a lot, but I did get some oxidation off on the rubber wheel. You might be able to see the black right there. And I got the grease off of this shaft, which is sticky. When grease gets old, it gets sticky. And that's because it absorbs all of the impurities in the air, the dust, the grit, the grime, so on and so forth. And that in turn makes the grease less slick, reduces its slipperiness. Now we need to lubricate it, and I don't have the lubrication in my new laboratory yet, so let me go grab it. We're going to use some dry lube or dry lubrication from 3M. Bear with me, I'm going to go grab that, and we're going to probably apply it with an applicator. I don't really want to spray it in here and get it all over everything inside. So I'm going to use another cotton swab that I'm going to saturate. So give me just a moment and then we're going to test this thing out again. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. This is the stuff I'm talking about. Non-stick dry film lubricant. So I'm going to spray this on this and then rub it on there. So I'm going to do that over here so I don't spray. My biggest issue is I don't want this to get on the motor, possibly cause a short, or get on the wheel and make it too slick. Kind of defeats the point of all of it. This stuff has an odor. Might have to open a window. I sprayed excessive because I know this is going to absorb a lot of it. So there we go. Nice and shiny. And there. Wow, that's some strong stuff. So this 3M stuff works really, really good. And it kind of gets a whitish color once it dries. So the film turns kind of white. I'm gonna get high in here. Holy smokes. It's a bigger room, but the ventilation's closed because it's noisy as crap outside. So I have the window closed, but as soon as I'm done, the window's getting opened. Because some tough stuff. She was rotating and then she stopped. Why she keeps stopping? Is the belt stopping when it stops? So re-lubricating it didn't do anything at the moment. Oh, is that the problem? Is I'm torque? Nope. It's walking. It's lifting everything. I need an extension. That's good enough. Yeah, I cannot get that to stop spinning no matter how much pressure I'm putting on this. So I know it's not slipping. Maybe I just didn't have it seated right. Let's try it again. So I'm watching this seam, and it lifts, and it starts rubbing against that, and then she gets stuck. This is definitely interesting. She gets stuck in the same spot every time, though. See, this gap keeps getting bigger, and it starts wedging on that. See? If they put another spring tensioner on the other side, I think that would have been better. That would have made more sense if they had another, not necessarily a drive, but just a tensioner to equal the pressure, because just putting it on one side is just, it's not balanced. It's just, so she's down flush. The idea of this is great, but apparently when it gets old, it's not so good anymore. It's a lot of adjusting. You got to get your tension right. I'm twisting it because I know why they have these wires twisted. Because if you don't, they'll rub on the pulleys or the belt. So you definitely need to retwist your wire. So it is lubricated, and once you get it back together, it's cleaned. Once you get it back together, you got to get the tension on this correct, or else it'll stop this from spinning. Yeah, this thing is very sensitive to outside. And the easiest way they could have fixed that is if they would have put another wheel, spring loaded, on the other side, so it's equal, so it stops trying to walk up at an angle. And if they would have put 2 set screws versus 1. So if they just would have balanced the load, balanced the pressure on it, it would have been better. So in theory, this thing works great, but when it gets older and the friction changes, the resistance friction changes, you have a problem. It is working. It's just a little bit of trial and error, as you saw. Trial and error being you have to get your tension right on that that light socket housing, and it is at an angle like you see on the video. And it was at an angle. I took it apart. I know why it's at an angle, because there's only 1 set screw and it's trying to be pushed up on, so the whole unit's trying to lift it. So with 1 set screw, as it lifts, it's twisting. So imagine it's doing this. The set screws here, and it's trying to, so yeah, not the, like I said, not the greatest. I think with a 2nd set screw, which you can put in, you can just drill a small pilot hole, get yourself a hobby screw like those, and pop one in, and you're good. But is it worth the hassle if you can just adjust what you have and make it function like so? I wonder if I have one of these in the LED. Now this is a warm white. I think the camera picks it up as a cold. And you can tell it's kind of golden compared to the light coming off of the 2 up here. Let me check where LED stat. I knocked it. By pushing in the light, I remove the set screw. You gotta be serious. Or excuse me, you can't be serious. There's no tension. Oh. You know what? I'm gonna modify this. I'm gonna go get some small drill bits. We're gonna drill another hole. And I want to find some small screws. And we're going to put one in there. And we're going to try and balance this a little bit better, because this is ridiculous. Now they do have to be flat tip screws, because if not, you can puncture the wires that run to the lights. So I'm going to go look for an LED and a screw and a small drill bit and the whole 9, and we're going to see if we can make this thing maybe work better. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. Got myself a screw I found. I got myself a small drill bit kit, or a tube. And if you look to the right of your screen, you see a whole bunch of LED lights, different colors. See what it looks like. And of course, can't forget the drill. So, let's see if we can help balance the pressure on this a little bit, so that way maybe this will work better. Alright, so untwist the wires. Also, this just digs into the plastic versus a hole in the plastic. So I'm going to make the hole go all the way through the plastic. Because they're flat screws, they won't damage the wires. I need to make sure the wires don't get hit by the drill bit. that hole's all the way through. That way I can use this screw as an alignment. So before, the screw was just wedging into the plastic. Now I've taken the indentation from the wedge and turned it into a hole, so the screw will go all the way through. You'll have more surface to bite into that way. Oh, maybe just drilling the hole through will help. Let's see if that does anything. I'll lift it off of the circuit board. No, maybe that made it worse. So it is still drilled into the plastic. The threads are in. I can't pull this off. So that's a positive. So maybe just fixing the hole will work. I'm still going to keep this screw handy just in case. But what I'd like to do is put this back on now and see if it'll spin the drone. Rotate the wires, make them all twisty inside. So if you have this piece and you're having a similar problem drilling out the hole so it can actually bite into the plastic versus push up against it might be a positive because it is doing its thing. So I have a white. These are green. So original, white, green. You can get them in smaller bulbs, trust me. Red, so that's red. And then I have an amber and a yellow. And I think the amber might look the best, the closest imitation to the original light. That is amber. And this one's yellow. You're probably thinking, did I go to the store and buy all these? A long, long time ago. I'm at a company where I customize cars, and I bought LED lights by the metric ton. So I'm going to close some blinds. We're going to darken it in here a little bit, and we're going to kind of see what this thing will look like with low light. And I won't really be able to tip this too much on its side, but there we go. Sorry, had a blind that was stuck. So there it is with its original incandescent light, which of course gets hot and draws more power. Like I said, I wish I could tip it so you can see the sides, but since the bottom isn't attached to anything, I can't tip it. But you can see the horses. So, whew, that bulb's getting warm. So now we're going to go with white. Probably going to, oh, sorry. Oh, this is one of those, this is a dual color light. It's not what I meant to grab. It turns into a directional, but it is amber. So why don't we try the amber? It's not going to work because it's a dual element, so I don't have a white. Here's the green, which is freaking bright. If this was a Halloween piece, it would look like a radioactive carousel. But it is Christmas, so. It's the green. If I remember right, this was the red. It doesn't look too bad. Again, Halloween, it will look like a bloody carousel. Not so much for Christmas. But if you do rehab pieces, it gives you some ideas. Remove the red. Now, one of these is amber, one of these is yellow. That's the amber. That's going to be probably the closest to the original color lighting, which actually doesn't look too bad. And what I'm probably going to do is set up a camera on the side here and then redo the filming of the different lights just to make it a little better. But that actually looks really good. That's the closest probably to the golden light of the original bulb. And that's yellow, so it's brighter. And that doesn't look too bad either. So, okay. Ooh, caught the edge. I am now going to pause this camera once it focuses. There you go. And set up a camera on the side so you can see this better. Make it a little easier for you. So, uno momento, and I'll be right back. All right, here comes the lighting tests again. We're going to go with the three that look good first. So here's the original. Doesn't look too bad. Excuse me. And it flickers because the bulb's not pushed in correctly. And we'll go with the next, which is amber. Which I think looks really good. It's just me. Amber's got more of that gold color. Next is yellow, which is slightly brighter than amber, not by much, but it also looks good. And actually, of the three, this is the color I would choose, is this one right here. So hopefully the camera's picking it up, because I know lights can swamp out the cameras easy. Or you can just knock the camera down and then you get absolutely nothing. So, there we go. And now we'll put in the colored ones just to give you an idea. I thought I had a blue one, which I don't have any blue of these left. I used them on cop cars, so I'm out. There's the red, which kind of swamps out the camera on the phone a little bit, but it's not horrible. But it shows a lot of white up in this area. There we go, up in here. But it's actually not. This is pure red. It looks like blood. That's why I said, for if you had a Halloween style carousel that was similar to this, it would be really cool. Or if you rehab this and made like a rundown one. And this one should be the green. And there's the green, which is really bright. This one doesn't show the hot spot as much, but you see a little bit here and a little bit here. But see, if this was another Halloween rundown zombie, it looks really good. But again, for Christmas, not so much. But yeah, I like the yellow the best out of the odd colors and the true bulb. I do like the yellow color the best of all of them because I think it gives it the most natural color for an incandescent style bulb. That's the amber. That's the amber. That's the yellow. So I do like this one the best. The amber is just a little bit darker. It's hard to see with the naked eye. Without seeing it with the naked eye, the camera doesn't pick up the color change too well. But that looks really good. I might stick with just the amber and leave the amber in here. So, all right. We'll go back to the top view now. All right, we're back from the side view. So you should have seen the different color changes and how it looks like from the sides. Since this is a piece you cannot tip. I'm going to bring on some white lights here. 3, 2, 1, lights. The problem is this new light I have right here is intensely bright compared to this one, so if I turn it down you get the shadow. If I turn it up too high you now get a shadow over here because this one's way brighter. So I try to balance the load like so. But so that pretty much consists of it. I just need to put the screws back in the bottom, but it's really easy to take apart and replace the belt, replace the pulley, lubricate it, clean it, so on and so forth. So hopefully this helps you. Sorry for how long it took, but I think we're there. Thanks for watching. Just kidding on that exit, I forgot to recap this. While I'm cleaning up, I'll do that. So, if you have this piece, I would recommend, if you're having it wedge, first, clean everything with alcohol, re-lubricate it as necessary. The dry lube works good. This thing's been on since I turned the camera off, and that was about 10 minutes ago. I just took the bulb out, that one. But the dry lubrication I like for plastic on plastic pieces, which this is what it is plastic on plastic rubbing. It hasn't quit working since. You know, when I do push the light bulb in, it does because I'm pushing down on it, which stops it for a second. But you can take the 3 screws out of the bottom. Excuse me, 4 screws, 3 in the feet and 1 oddball. Remove those, open it up, and then you'll see that the wires are spiraled together. Just untwist the wires so you can move this top piece over. And that way you can check the belt if you think the belt broke or if the pulley cracked. If not, just take out the 1 screw right there. You kind of see it right there. And then the whole top comes off. But you will have to unscrew those, untwist those wires so you can get the center up higher so you can clean the wheel and clean the pulley wheel, whatever you want to call it, and clean everything off. And of course, clean the grease on the shaft because that was sticky. slows it down. Again, I use the non-stick right there for lubrication. Just some cotton swabs I got off Amazon, some 99% alcohol. Anything above 91% is good. Below 91%, there's too much water in it. I like the 99% because it's only 1% water and it evaporates really fast. I am going to stick with this bulb because I do like this bulb because this is actually my piece now. It's given to me. I'll still keep I have hundreds of these. They're automotive bulbs. But what I meant to show you was when I was saying when that light was white and then orange, is this is a headlight directional. So it's got 2 pads versus 1 pad. So when I was touching, it was only touching one of the pads. My custom car I have, this is what I use inside. My car is orange. So when I flip a switch, it goes from white headlights to orange lights for car shows. That's why I have these, because I put them in my actual car that I have. So as far as these go, the split pads won't work. And the new ones use a plastic blade type connector with wires on them. So you need to find the old school ones. And you don't have to find them this tall. This is 3 high. They make them 2 high. And then you can even get some that are narrow that are, I don't know, they're not as big of a chip. They're like half the size. I just got these because I bought every single one from a lighting company, automotive lighting company was going out of business. So I bought a pickup truck full of random lights like this, which I use a lot of them for my lighting company. But I wanted you to see the difference and why it wasn't working like I thought when it was white is because I forgot to look at the bottom and see that this is not a 56 style bulb. It's a 57 style bulb. And if I said 7 earlier, single pins are 56, double pins or double posts are 57. The number in front of the 57, 1057, 2057, 3057, 4057 indicates the style base and the brightness. So you can get a 3057, but it won't fit in here because it has a blade style connector, whereas a 2057 and a 1057 have the round base with the single pin and the 2 locking pins on the side. So as far as this piece, maybe I'll pull out the top here and decorate it all up and get another short video of it for after the credit or the, thanks for watching end card that we have. But I want to get all these screws back in. I guess I was just cleaning up the mess on the bench so I have more room again, putting away the tools and the pieces, and then I realized I ended it abruptly without recapping. So sorry about that. And telling you the difference between a 56 and a 57. And again, I think I did it again. These are 2056 or 1056. These are 2057s or 1057. Crap, I gotta quit doing that. And that's because almost this, if you have an old car that still uses this style light bulb, this is your backup light. Backup light. Although your backup light probably won't be amber. Also directionals on old cars. My old Cadillac, the front directional took a 56 and the side directional didn't, but the rear backup lights were also 56s. And then my brake lights and directionals were 57s. So they're very, very common on older vehicles. Also, in case you're not familiar with automotive bulbs, you got a pin and a pin. You can see they're straight across. On a 57, they're staggered. One's low, one's high. So you can't put it in backwards. So if this was two-tone red, you'd have a low for your marker and a high for your brake and directional, or brighter. It's not really high, it's just a brighter filament. Or in this case, it takes the power coming in when it's on one side. If this was a red bulb, it'd be 10 volts, and when you go to the other side, it'd be 12 volts. It just increases the voltage inside. Whereas this goes from one pin is white and one pin is orange, so it just overrides the other color. And like I said, I use these in my car, so that's why I have a couple of spares. I have 2 of these left. Hopefully, because they're LED, they're supposed to outlast the car, but I doubt it. Everything's made where it's designed to fail, so you buy more. So, but this yellow is the one I like the most, which is kind of hard to see on the camera, but it, to me, has the best appearance over the rest of them. It's not as dark as the amber, not as bright as the incandescent, but it's kind of a golden color, which I think makes this look really good. For me personally. Again, everybody has their own preferences. So that concludes this one, and I'm going to go ahead and dress this up and just take a quick video for the after the end card there, that if you want to watch it, great. If not, thanks for watching. Till the next one.